Fox 5 and Hot 97 present Street Soldiers with Lisa Evers.
I'm so glad you're joining us for this episode of Street Soldiers on celebrities and politics. I'm your host, Lisa Evers. Political candidates have been seeking out celebrity endorsements for decades, and entertainers have welcomed the connection to serious issues and causes. Now, as the presidential race heats up, will celebrity endorsements make a difference in who shows up to vote? Hip-hop and politics have an interesting relationship. Megastar rapper Lil Wayne supported former President Trump and received a pardon from him on a felony gun conviction. Another Trump supporter, rapper Kodak Black, was also pardoned. Former President Barack Obama embraced hip-hop, citing lyrics from Jay-Z to crowds.
We honor those who walked so we could run. We must run so our children soar.
And releasing his playlist that included Nas and Method Man. Before artists get involved with candidates, they need to become informed so it doesn't backfire, says allhiphop.com CEO Chuck Creekmur.
I definitely think there's unmined opportunity with hip hop artists. I think hip hop is, it's a culture that is really rooted in the community. It's really rooted in speaking truth to power. I think it's also a certain amount of rebelliousness, which resonates many times with young people.
Sometimes celebrities go on to politics. Former President Ronald Reagan was a film star before his 2 terms in the White House. On a local level, Newark City Council member Dupre Kelly was part of the hip-hop group Lords of the Underground. But much more common are celebrities backing a political party and its candidates, like George Clooney and Beyonce with the Democrats, and Kid Rock and influencer Amber Rose with the Republicans. Celebrities bring credibility, and most of all, in a media-cluttered landscape, the power of influence, says Professor Micah Rasmussen of Rider University.
So stars have that with their fan base. And so when stars say, it's really important for you to register to vote, it's really important for you to vote this year, that is who fans listen to. And so it's an important link for politicians, for candidates to make with those audiences that they wouldn't necessarily have.
Political pundits on all sides have been predicting that the 2024 presidential race will be very close. So the search is on for new voting groups. A lot of attention is being paid to young voters, but reaching them will require non-traditional social media approaches, says New York Post lifestyle reporter Asia Grace.
I think this is going to be much more conversational, as now we have a window into our favorite celebrities' life. You know, they can be doing their makeup, doing a get ready with me video, and talking to us about what they feel and what they want to see happen in this election.
Let's bring this to our panel and get their take.
Joining me is Micah Rasmussen. He's a political professor at Rider University. He's also the director of the Rebovich Institute. Micah, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Also with us is Asia Grace. She's a New York Post lifestyle reporter. Asia, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Lisa.
We appreciate it. Also joining us is Chuck Creekmur. He's a CEO and co-founder of allhiphop.com. Chuck, great to have you with us again. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Asia, I want to start with you on this. There have been some already kind of eye-popping moments with celebrities stepping into the political arena. What are you looking forward to?
I mean, yes, celebrities have entered the chat, baby, okay? And they're going to bat for their White House faves. Historically, though, this is nothing new. We've seen A-listers, give their endorsements and reinforcements to political candidates for decades now. Of today, we have the top dogs such as George Clooney and Cardi B or Amber Rose and Kid Rock backing certain runners, as we've seen, the VIPs of yesteryear, a la Frank Sinatra, Judy Garland, Ella Fitzgerald back their runners. So, these celebrities, these multi-hyphenates, they want to be seen as multi-dimensional. They don't want to just be known for how well they can sing, act, dance, dribble a ball, play hand bone on their knee. They really want their voices to matter, and they really want to have a stake in every arena, including politics. So as we get closer to November, I'm really interested to see who's popping up on social media, what TikTok dances and songs and videos we're going to see with the candidate of their choice behind them. It's going to be incredible.
Chuck, what about the hip hop artists and hip hop culture getting involved in this?
Well, hip hop's 50 years old now. It's 50 plus. Some of the participants are senior citizens, to be honest with you. Others are extremely young. So we have a really wide range right now with our culture. So I'm definitely interested in hearing from hip hop artists. I will say I'm mostly interested in hearing from educated hip hop artists, those that know what they're talking about and are not here just to create confusion or chaos or got some money under the table. So my interest lies within those who have the interests of the community at heart, who are not just here to be seen or to get some likes, some views, rig the algorithm a little bit, So that's really what I'm here for. And I think the unfortunate fact is that a lot of these folks see this as a moment to become more relevant or to join forces with another team after their run has expired with another team. And so that's sort of what I'm looking for. This is serious business here. So a lot of people are here for play or here for attention. And that's where I have an issue.
Okay. Professor Rasmussen, in terms of celebrities, what's the upside and what's the downside of them getting involved in politics for the candidates?
That's a great question because these are stars who value their roles as citizens, like everybody else, and they want to have their say, and they have things to say. There are important questions that we're answering, that we're tackling as a country, and they want to be included in that. So that's the upside. The upside is they want to be included. They have fame, and look, our Supreme Court says that money is speech, right? You can buy an ad and that's protected free speech. So if they have fame, that has cachet as well, and they want to be included. The downside, of course, is that there are some segment of Americans who view this negatively. There may be a backlash, there may be a reaction, and maybe that's a quarter of the population, so it's not huge. In fact, I think we're at a point where more people are listening to celebrities that are not, but there is the risk that people are going to tune out and turn off if they don't like what you have to say.
All right. And Professor, how important are these celebrity endorsements or critical, especially when, polls are showing candidates very close and all the experts like yourself continue to say, whatever happens is going to be a very close election?
That's a great point. You have to remember, first of all, that in this country, we pick a president based on the electoral college, not on a nationwide vote where, one candidate gets 3 or 4 million votes than another candidate, but state by state. And so if Pennsylvania is decided by 50,000 votes, if Georgia's decided by 10,000 votes, then anything can move the needle. And an endorsement is the way that more of us are getting information these days. We're not just getting our information from 1, 2, or 3 TV stations or radio stations. We're getting our information through social media. So anything can move the needle. And the fact that different stars are mobilizing their audiences and their fans definitely makes a difference.
We'll be right back after this.
Asia, in terms of the popularity factor, I mean, you talk about numbers, everything is metrics now with social media. How attractive does that make one star over another star in terms of endorsements?
Well, celebrities are the original influencers. They are the older sister, if you will, of the trendsetter sphere. Okay, so pick a celebrity, any celebrity, if their name is on it, if they're behind a brand, people are going to buy it, wear it, smell it, use it, whatever, because these celebrities say so. And now that we have social media and celebrities are very active on there, their children are active on it, their parents are active on it, anything that celebrity is putting out there, their fans and the world over, they're gonna consume that, and they're gonna take that as almost gold, as the golden truth. And celebrity endorsements can definitely be gold for a lot of candidates. We saw Taylor Swift back Biden back in the day. We saw even Frank Sinatra, as I mentioned, back JFK with his High Hopes song, his remix. We've seen Kanye West, back during Trump's first run, he backed Trump, and that's wonderful. These celebrity voices absolutely are valuable. But then if the celebrity, for whatever reason, has a fall from grace, as we've seen a number of icons have in the recent past, that could reflect negatively on the presidential candidate that they backed. So it is gold, but if you get the wrong person to back you, it could be fool's gold. You got to be careful.
Chuck, what about that? The pitfalls for artists?
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of pitfalls for artists. I mean, this is a very nuanced situation with the election. We have a number of issues. So one topic might be the war. One topic might be women's rights. If you pick a candidate, it may be seen as you picking or siding with a particular issue as well. So a lot of folks had issues with Biden regarding the situation with Israel and Hamas, and they feel like this is a genocide. And so if you're voting for Biden, you might have been voting for Biden because of Trump and only Trump. Forget everything else, and then that presents a particular issue with your fan base or the folks that follow you. So you have to be, as a star, you have to be very careful in how you endorse a particular candidate.
Professor Rasmussen, what about that in terms of the knowledge that celebrities have and then also the complexity, because there's some major issues emerging here?
Chuck is exactly right. There's no such thing as a single issue voter. We all have dozens of reasons, some that we're conscious of, some that we're not even conscious of. And so you do really run the risk as a celebrity of aligning with your fans on one issue, but inadvertently differing with your fans on another issue that you maybe didn't even think about. So some stars will say, I'm not getting involved, or maybe I'll play it safe by getting involved in encouraging my fans to vote. That's certainly safe. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm going to tell you to vote. And we've seen that in some recent tours. More recently, Asia, you mentioned Taylor Swift. I think, her latest line is just make sure you vote. And I think some stars will do that and play it safe that way.
Okay, and some of them have taken it a lot further than just a fundraising. I mean, we've always seen, I think, throughout the years, the Hollywood fundraisers, Asia, but when George Clooney, after that fundraiser where he saw President Biden and then writing this editorial in the New York Times and basically saying we need to have a change, that was taking it to a whole other level. It's right?
Absolutely. I mean, George Clooney in a lot of people's hearts and minds is a certified honey. Whatever he says, the
Right.
words come out as honey. So people definitely have, they respect him. They enjoy his charm, his charisma. So I believe that this op-ed was poignant and that he didn't necessarily become nasty in it. He made a point, and I think that that was the biggest thing, that he wanted people to realize that as a supporter, as someone who stood behind my party, there can be a new conversation to potentially push forward our collective mission.
Not only did he get away with it and not get the blowback, but it was mission accomplished, because he wanted to start that conversation that Asia's talking about. He wanted to tell other people in politics and outside of politics, this is a serious conversation we need to be having. And he did draw people into the conversation. He was one of the first, certainly at that high profile level, he got the conversation going to some extent. So he really did play a major role, I think, in this change that we've seen in candidates. This historic, unprecedented change had a lot to do with a star saying, I'm going to stick my nose in here and say what I saw and what I think has to be done about it.
Chuck, is there a risk with these celebrities that they may make the candidates seem too much like they're hobnobbing with the celebrities and the A-listers instead of actually focusing on these issues that are really important to people right now?
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't believe so. I think that I believe that most of the candidates all have or are giving the appearance of having Americans' true interests at heart. I think it only adds to what they're already speaking. Having Beyonce allow you to play her song "Freedom" is there's nothing that's going to hurt Kamala Harris. Yeah.
When you saw or heard about Amber Rose being on that stage at the RNC, what did you think?
I felt betrayed. I said, oh, wow. Amber Rose went and switched sides on us. That's exactly how I felt. We built her up over the years. No, seriously, I thought, why are you there? I really thought, why are you, of all people, there?
Professor, what's your take on that? Because a lot of people were shocked. Here's a party that was, we've heard the most was aligned with, in some cases, Christian fundamentalist ideas. And then there's Amber Rose, who is to many people, as our guests have said, the exact opposite.
It was intended for shock value. It was a moment that was intended to surprise everybody. So mission accomplished. But the thing you have to be aware of as a celebrity is the sense of being used, the sense of being co-opted, of being brought into something that you didn't necessarily sign up for. And that's when I think you run the risk of blowback, of seeming inauthentic, of it potentially giving you a problem with your fan base. There was another speaker at the convention. This was not necessarily a celebrity moment, but I think it speaks to the problems that you can run into. The president of the Teamsters typically would be rock bed Democrat. And he spoke at the Republican convention. He did not endorse Trump. He spoke there, again, intended for shock value. His members didn't necessarily appreciate that. He's going to draw a challenge now to his leadership that he didn't necessarily sign up for or think he was getting involved in. He wanted to, sort of be friendly with both sides. And I think it runs the serious risk of making him look like he got involved in something he didn't mean to get involved in.
The political alignments for a star, do they risk losing followers if they have people that are, disagree with their choices or their endorsements?
I mean, anything you do nowadays is a gamble. You got to put yourself out there as a presidential candidate and see what sticks. And, Kamala Harris, her and her team, they made they took a big gamble by, putting the brat logoing under some of her social media presence after British singer Charlie XCX called Kamala Harris, brat, like she is brat. And that Gen Z slang, the music, the culture of pop culture and hip hop culture, that can be taken one way or the other. People might like it, people might hate it. But when you immerse yourself into the world of celebrity, you're swimming in a pool and all you got to do is, tread that water, make sure you come out on top.
Professor, in terms of information, how do celebrities judge the information they get? How do they know that what they're getting is accurate?
That's an essential question that we all need to be asking ourselves. You have to, I guess, trust but verify, right? To use an old phrase. You must check out what you are saying before it comes out of your mouth. You must check it out before you vote the way you vote, before you're influenced by a piece of information. You have to source it. You have to go back to an original source. And I say this to students, I say this to my kids, it's got to be an original source. It can't just be, reported through, this place or that place. You got to go back to wherever it came from.
Asia, what about the political battleground on social media?
As a journalist, it's a cardinal rule that you have to go to the source. You have to get the words from the horse's mouth. And we kind of have, as a society, all kind of step back from that. And we just go with what we see on either online or in a headline or on television. And that could be dangerous. And even with a lot of celebrities, with the influence that they do have, a lot of folks are using the term or the phrase, "I did my research." And that's beautiful. But what research? And do we know that research was verified? Do we know that came from a trusted and credible source? So, it's important, it's incumbent on all of us to do our own research. Influencers are absolutely wonderful. I'm, as we going into this election where we have a lot of younger voters, I mean, Gen Z, first timers, I mean, millennials are, impressionable. If somebody tells me, go and buy this lotion, you'll get a guy in finance, 6'5", blue eyes, I'm going to buy the lotion. But that's a product. Now we're talking about a president here. So we really do have to be responsible and do research, to the best of our ability to make sure that we know what we're doing here.
And Chuck, what about your plans for allhiphop.com for coverage as the season heats up?
It's tough. I'm on both sides of it. I'm reporting, but I'm also actively participating. I've already written a piece, the case for Kamala. And I just think that it's time to just really get active. I don't think that we have, again, we're looking at the potential for this election to impact generations and generations and generations of our people. If you have kids, you have to think about your children. If you don't have kids, you have to think about someone else's children. And I just don't think this is the time to stand on the sidelines or to do things for clout or for fun or whatever hijinks. I would love to see more education, less social media education, even, quite frankly, things around Project 2025. There have been memes that have been misinterpreted at best. or not pure misinformation, but pieces of misinformation included. So we have to continue to drive home, especially us, the folks that are on the front lines of giving this information. We have to continue to reinforce that things are not right or partially wrong, and we're again trusted people a lot of times in our communities to be able to deliver that message.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Street Soldiers on Celebrities and Politics. You can watch the show again and share it on our Fox 5 NY YouTube page and the Fox Local app on your TV. Remember, use your mind as your best weapon. I'm Lisa Evers. Let's push for peace, love, and justice for all.